have your views of the what made you think of this mafia thing, and in Bollywood as well as in cricket. Last nearly 45 to 50 days, there's a controversy raging in the entire nation and all over the globe on the sad situation, on the mysterious death of Sushant Singh Rajput. And in fact, the entire nation wants to know what is the mystery and the other connections in Bollywood and also in cricket. So, with this, I hand over to Dr. Swamy for his introductory remarks and a discussion on the subject. Over to Dr. Swamy.
Yes, thank you. And if it's all right with you, I'll start with cricket first.
Yes.
And then devote the bulk of the time to the Bollywood and its mafiaization, as if I may call it. First of all, as far as cricket is concerned, it was originally a 5-day test match affair, and it was not that frequent as it's now, the matches, and now, of course, the matches have become multiple levels of a 5-day match, and then there's a 50-over match, and then there is a 20-over match. So the betting in the earlier days was very straightforward, and there wasn't any question of match fixing. But as the cricket, especially because of Indian audiences, which are huge, and the money that poured in, it became huge. It became a matter of greed for a lot of people, and the betting began to get very nasty and started slowly slipping into the hands of the mafia and the people who are now wanted under the law under the terrorist acts, both nationally and internationally, like Dawood Ibrahim, and so on. So that's how it has gone. And today it's now not only fixing matches in advance so that the outcomes are known to the fixers, and it is also prostitution has come into it. You have, for instance, in T20, women, half-naked women, all cheering. What is the need? I mean, how does it enhance the game? I don't understand. Nor how does it announce the crowds? The crowds don't come for them, but the crowds, of course, jeer at all that is going on. So that, and plus in the for the cricketers and so on. I mean, it's become very, very, very ugly, rapidly deteriorating. That money that comes in, accounted now unaccountably, generates that kind of thing. So now the question is, in such a situation, naturally the mafia, which has been laundering money for years, sitting in Dubai, particularly Dawood Ibrahim and his incorporation, as it's called, D Company, and they have been interfering in a number of ways. Sometimes, actually rigging the match. Sometimes, where mysteriously somebody dies, like the Pakistani coach died in Trinidad, and or somebody has to, out of fear, some office bearer of the BCCI or the IPL or the 50 over match, he has to run away from the country. So we had that one of the most sinister example of the mafiaization was that Kochi auction, in which Shashi Tharoor was interested, and he and his wife were present at the bidding, and so was Modi, Lalit Modi. And Lalit Modi was a very smart guy. All crooks are smart actually. But he was a very smart guy, and he outbid them. He knew how they were going to bid, and he was going to win the bid. And the people who had come there with the money for it were actually Gujarati diamond merchants, and they had floated a group which was actually which had found favor with Shashi Tharoor. And so, lo and behold, and this is our website. So let me be frank with you. Shashi Tharoor telephoned Rahul Gandhi to come immediately, because otherwise this IPL bid will go to Lalit Modi. And he came, and there were hot words exchanged, mostly from one direction, namely from Rahul to Lalit Modi, and that's why Lalit Modi, for fear of his life, ran away from the country. And there's no charge against him. Why is he sitting there? Because he's afraid of his life. So that Sunanda got, I think, 70 crore rupees as what they call the sweat capital, that she was there to facilitate the auction. And that is what ultimately, when Sunanda Pushkar fell out with Shashi Tharoor, she threatened that she will make that public. And she had, in fact, scheduled a press conference at 4 p.m. on a particular day, and at 11 o'clock, she was dead. So this is a clear case of where the mafia intervened to silence her, and the message got around. And so since then, the mafia has had a field day, and many cases of rigging of this is happening. Now, there have been attempts, at least one attempt was that of Srinivasan, who thought that Bombay is a fertile area for Dawood to operate. And so he tried to shift the capital of cricket to Chennai, and nearly succeeded. He floated a team called Chennai Super Kings, which became champion year after year. And slowly then, the cricketing crowds, the money, everything started moving. In the meantime, Srinivasan was so appreciated for his managerial talent that he not only became president of BCCI, later on he became even the international ICC board chairman. And so I think somewhere it was decided by the Dawood company that we'll lose complete grip over the cricket if we don't stop this guy somewhere. But Srinivasan was well established. He had very strong political support in Tamil Nadu, and he was generally known as a very nice man. I myself knew him very, very well, and he is extremely upright, straightforward, man of his word. Of course, he's a businessman, so he knows life as it should be known. And when he was in the peak of his performance and career, that time a mysteriously floated Bihar cricket club, which had no recognition, no support, no teams, nothing. Just it was a paper letterhead body. It suddenly emerged, went to Bombay, and in Bombay High Court, it filed a PIL saying that there's a lot of corruption in cricket, and then that they didn't get full relief, so they came to the Supreme Court, and in both places, the advocate for the Bihar Cricket Club was Miss Nalini Chidambaram, the wife of P. Chidambaram. I mean, after all, what did she know about cricket? But anyway, she was the advocate. And at that stage, I decided finally that I should intervene and clean up cricket. I was myself a cricket player for my school and college, and so I know the game well. Not that I have time to follow it. I hardly follow the match, except maybe the finals of the IPL I might follow. But that's because no channel is showing anything else. So I may have to follow that. So I entered the thing. I filed an intervening petition, and the Supreme Court judges were very appreciative of my coming in. And in fact, the then Chief Justice said, "Where have you been all these days? When we were arguing, you should have come much earlier." But anyway, I got into it. And then the whole game plan of those who had made this petition was basically that Srinivasan should be removed. So they created a bogus case of match fixing by his son-in-law, and it was a bogus case because it was a fact that one, I would call as indiscretion committed by Srinivasan's son-in-law, was that having been his son-in-law and having been an executive of Chennai Super Kings, he should not have gambled. He shouldn't have bet on it. Although he lost the money each time he bet for 2 years in a row, he lost money. So it's obviously it couldn't have been match fixing or rigging or any of that kind, because he lost money, and it's known to everybody. And betting is not illegal in many parts of India. For instance, in Sikkim, it's not illegal, and in many countries also it's not illegal. But in India, it's justifiably, and I would support it. The betting on a match actually induces illegality. So therefore, he should not have done it. But I was surprised that the committee set up by the Supreme Court had actually found him guilty and suspended him from cricket for life for having betted and lost money. And it was clear that the target was of Srinivasan. They had nothing against Srinivasan. He was cleared of all the allegations made by Nalini Chidambaram. But the court said, you did allow your son to bet, and therefore he was suspended for 2 years. Of course, he's now back. Those 2 years have been long over. So this was a case where the mafia succeeded in seeing that Bombay remains the center of the cricket management, and the BCCI office is also in Bombay, and the kinds of people who are there, we know how close they are. The politicians who are having office bearers, how close they are to Dawood. So that problem has not been solved, but it has been sort of reduced because of all this publicity that came. But I would say that what the thing that we have to see is, how do you cure the mafia involvement in anything that is good in India, anything that's an entertainment for the people? And cricket is an example. It's a technical game. You have to educate yourself, and that means you have to take interest in it. But it's become a mass sport, and there's no country in the world which can match the crowds that we assemble. So the money that comes for the ICC, which is the International Cricket Council, or whatever it's called, that international body where there are people with fixed salaries, fat salaries, all Englishmen, because the headquarters is in London, they are very keen to see that India remains on their side and that India is complicit. And so Srinivasan, of course, has to make a comeback at the international level too, and I'm sure that he will. He's already back in some capacity in BCCI from where he was earlier removed. So I would say this is a developing story. There haven't been any murders or any other things, but the money that gets laundered in IPL particularly, and the 50 over matches, is extraordinary. And because of the large amounts of money that come in from the public. And therefore, I think it lends itself to a great deal of misuse. And I think this is one thing on which, although I must give compliment to Justice Mudgal, who was given a right to investigate the errors in the functioning of the various cricket clubs. For instance, Delhi, which Arun Jaitley headed, was one of the most corrupt cricket clubs. And Mudgal's report, as Justice Mudgal's report, he was Chief Justice, I think, in Punjab and Haryana. His report was, he has clinically put it out. But most important is he has drawn attention to the involvement of mafia and said this could lead to cricketers getting killed and all kinds of. I mean, he didn't use these words, but he said it could lead to very awkward situations in our things. So that warning, I think we should act on Justice Mudgal's report and see that cricket is cleaned up. It's one of the most exhilarating sports for the Indian people, even though it is British, but we have Indianized it. We are no more in what we call as stylish batting, as the English used to have, but smacking the ball all around. The thing like Dhoni, who was an artist in that, he taught how cricket can be made to be enjoyable for the ordinary people by smacking the ball all around the ground. So this is as far as cricket is concerned, and it's a crisis in the making. It can any day lead to very very bad situations where our top cricketers can be killed, so that the balance the status of the team can go down or up in the rankings. So we have to see that this mafia gets out of it, and that means politicians who are today office bearers, almost all the state cricket boards are headed by politicians, and many of them have very sordid records as far as corruption is concerned. So I think we need one more round of cleaning up the cricket administration, and I'm sure that someday in the future we can do it. But we need essentially the government support for it. But if the people of the ruling party become office bearers of cricket clubs, then it becomes very difficult. But anyway, these are things matters for few, and it's not yet reached a stage where we can be alarmed. What we can be alarmed about is, of course, the movie industry, which is huge, and it actually in cricket, people don't mind. I mean, their outlook in life, their political philosophy, social philosophy, their attitude to prostitution, all these things don't change because the cricket somebody plays hits 5 6ers, it doesn't have an impact. But movies have tremendous impact, and the people start imitating the actors and actresses. They want to look like them, they want to dress like them. So it's a very powerful medium which needs to be within. We have freedom of expression in our constitution, but freedom of expression in the constitution also is along with reasonable restrictions, and the restrictions are on a number of bases, including morality is a factor which can be used for restricting freedom of expression, and of course not hurting religious feelings, etc. So constitutionally the government is empowered to see that certain parameters are set, and after all, the issue is the question of a nation's moral character, and the moral character is subverted, and all kinds of marriages are made into jokes. Marriages are an institution that have survived a long time, and those countries which have given up marriages, that things haven't worked out. And so I think it's a way of bringing up a family. Marriages have been sanctified, but the Bollywood films, and in the lives that come in the screen magazines and so on, they actually start debasing these moral values that we have had from years and years. So therefore, the movie industry requires a great deal of consideration. Now, I was surprised to see some time ago, before I got interested in this, although I've not seen movies for a long time. If at all I get time, I might get half an hour before I go to sleep on Netflix. And there also, I'm only interested in political movies, and there are not that many. But anyway, I was concerned about the lawlessness that is emerging in the movie industry. In 2011, the WikiLeaks published a secret letter, or a confidential letter written by the U.S. consulate in Bombay to the United States government and the CIA and the Homeland Security and the other agencies concerned. in which they said that the Bombay connection to Islamic terror arises from the movie industry through the Dawood Ibrahim gang. And it also said that the cable said that Bollywood is financially associated with the Mumbai underworld and the Dubai dons. And so, that's if that is true today, which seems it so, then it's a great, it's a shocking thing, because Dawood Ibrahim killed about 369 people or 359 people in Bombay by Bombay blasts, just because he said he wanted to take revenge for the demolition of the Babri Masjid. And of course, he ran away from then, and now he lives as a fugitive. There's a proclaimed offender warrant against him, but he lives there in Dubai. And he is regularly visited by our film actors and actresses. Actresses, in fact, have to spend nights with the people he designates they should spend. I mean, it's a complete debasement that is going on with this mafia. And in the report with the United States, the United States then, on the basis of this report, had an earlier report in 2003, they declared Dawood Ibrahim as an international terrorist, and said that all other countries should also do the same. India did not do it till 2019. It was the BJP government which declared under the Unlawful Activities Act amendment, we amended Act, we declared Dawood Ibrahim as an international terrorist fugitive. And what this U.S. embassy report says is Dawood Ibrahim's syndicate has consistently aimed at destabilizing the Indian government through inciting riots, acts of terrorism, even civil disobedience. Dawood Ibrahim is currently wanted by India for the March 12, 1993 Bombay Exchange bombings, which killed hundreds of Indians and injured 1,000 more. And it goes on, gives a alarming report about the danger to India of Dawood Ibrahim. And yet we find that film actors, they regularly are seen, photographed with them, and there are reports of it. Here is this Salman Khan, who is now one of the leading dadas of the cinema world. There are three Khans who are running the show there: Shah Rukh Khan, Salman Khan, and one more Khan, who did that film PK film. So therefore, I think these three Khans have made it clear that either you comply with us or you will not get anything. And that's how this whole issue of Sushant Singh Rajput has arisen. Now, why are we taking this interest? There's so many people who have been committing suicide over the last 10 years, but I never took interest, and neither the nation took interest in the way it is taken. Why in this case? Because in this case, there are 2-3 things which make Sushant stick out. One is he didn't come to the film world because he had nothing else to do. He was just a loafer in college or something like that. He actually took the competitive exam for Delhi School of Engineering and came 7th. He also got a scholarship from abroad, from American universities. And he had shown great deal of interest in a variety of things. He has given lectures to students on physics, the new developments in physics, which I saw at least one video of. He, with his money that he made in the beginning in the film world, he bought a piece of land in Moon, advance booking that is permitted. So one piece of land in the Moon. Now, this is the kind of things that made him a different person than the normal routine cinema actors. And then after getting the films, he, in 3 films in a row, he, became a national hero of the young people who go to see cinema. And then we find that he's having problems. His contracts are getting cancelled. He's being given all kinds of hints that you have not paid obeisance to the Khan syndicate and the the Dawood syndicate, and you have to comply. In that, there were other people who were highly critical of him, like Mahesh Bhatt and so on. So we have a scenario that here's a man who wants to stand alone, and he says, God, judge me by my merit. If you think that my acting is something that public wants and they're willing to buy cinema tickets for it, then treat me on that basis. But I am not going to come and crawl before you and do this. And slowly we find that he's not getting any roles. These are getting cancelled, and then I can't say just now. It's because it's not a conclusive matter. But some people then start feeding him all kinds of stories about what drugs and he should take, and we find that one day his girlfriend, self-proclaimed girlfriend, leaves him, and 1 week later he is found dead. Now that dead is he's found dead. They say it's suicide. How do you know it's a suicide? Because the police say it's a suicide. And how do the police know it's a suicide? But even before the forensic report comes, Bombay police announced that it's a case of suicide and that he hanged himself. But where is the picture of his body? Why did you take the body? There were two ambulances arrived to take the body from his house. One is 2 kilometers away. That was the Leela Hospital, and the other was 11 kilometers away, which is the R.C. Cooper municipality. And R.C. Cooper Municipality Hospital specializes in traffic accident deaths and things like that. But here's a very high-profile thing, and where it's not very clear. There's no car crash to identify the cause of death, and suddenly it is taken there. 5 doctors do the autopsy, and they gave only a provisional finding that he died due to asphyxiation. But the police from beginning were saying that it is suicide by hanging. Now, hanging, it can come after he is dead also. You can hang him as an alibi. Everything is open. But these doctors, clever they put in one more line. However, we have sent the viscera to the forensic department for an opinion. Now, that's 48 days ago. 48 days ago, they've sent it. And no report has come. Now, you see, I have had some experience in dealing with such matters because of the Sunanda Pushkar case, where the same kind of thing happened. But fortunately, the forensic department was headed by Dr. Sudhir Gupta, who is one of the bravest, most intelligent gold medalists who's heading and it's our government, I must say, and that too J.P. Nadda, when he was minister, who gave him that honor and permanent position as head of the Department of the Forensic Sciences in the All India Institute. And he was the one who found that Sunanda had all kinds of body marks, and he videoed it so that nobody can later on say no, cremate the body and finish it off. But what we find is that in this case, the provisional report comes and it says that we have sent it to the forensic for an opinion. Nobody has seen a picture of the body of Mr. Sushant, and yet they've come to conclusion that it was a suicide committed by him. How do we know? Unless if there were marks in the body, as many people who have seen the body in the Cooper Hospital say, not many, but some, they say that no, there were lots of marks on his body, and that the doctors began to feel maybe he was poisoned also, and therefore that it has been the viscera. That is, viscera means parts of the body, and his nails, because when there's poisoning, very often it shows up in your nails. So it's been sent for an opinion, and that opinion has not yet come. And yet, the Mumbai police, in a probably one of the Guinness Book of World Records item, they have not yet registered an FIR. The Supreme Court, in judgment after judgment, says that as soon as a crime is reported, whether it is correctly reported, falsely reported, those are after investigation. But if somebody comes and said, I was in such and such place, and there was a dead body which had been as if a person who had been strangled, then immediately a FIR is registered. That's called first information report. What the Bombay police is doing is they are just doing the so-called investigation, and maybe in the end they will write the final information report saying no cases made out, it's only suicide and the matter is over. And so the Bombay police appears to be complicit, and it may have been because of political pressure. And if it's political pressure, whose political pressure, and why is it being done? So it's a fit case for taking it out of Bombay and giving it to some other agency which will not be affected by the socialization that police does with the Bollywood characters, and that would be the CBI. And in the meantime, the parents go in Patna, and the Patna people, on the basis of financial fraud, they register a case, and then naturally, as a byproduct, they want to know the circumstances of the death of Mr. Sushant. Now there are so many little things. I don't want to play policeman in this, but when the body was discovered by people who broke in the door, he was lying in bed. Those who came afterwards. Initially, they say the servant came. Somehow, first they said he broke open the door. Then the door was not broken. Then they got a duplicate key, and all mixed up there. But whether he could hang himself is very doubtful, because the height of the Bombay flats are all 12 feet. Around that level, and the bed was about 2 feet, and there was no stool in the room. And so, on what did he stand? He stood on his bed and hanged himself, and there would be he would be just standing. That's all. He couldn't be. There was no room for hanging. So therefore, everything is highly concocted. So, and then the who are the visitors who came? We have no idea, because the closed circuit TV outside his flat has been disconnected. When was it disconnected? Was there a tape which was taken out? All these are questions that are arising. So all in all, we see that we are quite, this is probable. It's a possibility, definitely, that the mafia, which is harassing him and cornering him, and finally wanted to get rid of him. His special assistant he had appointed, she 6 days earlier had committed, was pushed off or fell off the 7th floor of her apartment and died. So all these things show that the mafia wants to send a message that either you cooperate with us in every way, you are our actually de facto slave, you act according to our instructions, you will get roles, and you will make money, and you will become famous, but you will be in the end our slave. So this is the message that wants to go. Otherwise, you'll get killed. So therefore, in a democratic country like ours, we can't allow this. And therefore, I think we need some serious investigation into the state of affairs in Bollywood. And Ayuthi Singh think that we should also understand that that is after this matter is over. Now, I don't know what the difficulty is. There's a central agency that is called the Enforcement Directorate, which is going into the money laundering angle, because a lot of money is missing from his accounts. And in any case, in Bollywood, money gets laundered all the time. So there's a definite case for the enforcement directorate. It's already on. It's been ordered. And when I called up Nitish, our chief minister, he was good enough to say that I have no objection to a CBI inquiry, and if the parents have no objection, and now the parents don't have no objection. So what is the delay for a CBI inquiry? I don't know. I've written letters to the Prime Minister twice, giving more and more reasons why CBI inquiry is absolutely necessary. And I'm sure that CBI inquiry will come, because now the bloomers being committed by the Bombay police are such, including the fact that this special assistant or secretary of Sushant, who committed or was pushed off or fell off from a seventh floor building of our apartment, or the seventh floor of our apartment building, and she had put everything in the computer, and that computer was seized by the Bombay police. Now, when the Bihar police went and said, please give us that computer or give us a printout of the whatever is in the computer, they said, inadvertently, we think that this lady, Disha or something her name is, she has deleted all the records by mistake. So, I mean, it sounds like Watergate, if you ask me. So, here is another. So I think the Bombay police now appears to be a bit desperate to see that their reputation is not sullied when the matters come. They may have capitulated to some politicians. Let them name the politicians. And I have, eerie feeling that there's somebody who wants to scare the chief minister and wants to drag in his son's name. But I can tell you from whatever material I have, his son is, maybe having flings with the actresses, but he had nothing to do with the death of Sushant. That was probably the son of somebody else, whom I will not be in a position to name now, because it will not be fair, because I don't have complete evidence. But I think that evidence is coming out, and we'll know who is the other son who was so powerful that he could do all this. So I think all in all, we have a situation where politicians, gangsters, and cinema stars, people who people respect, they are today a cartel which wants to ensure that the worst possible human beings become our film actors and actresses, and anyone else with some decency, some educational background, some sense of morality is eliminated. It doesn't get roles or gets dead. This is something we cannot accept, and in a democratic country like ours, and therefore the whole country today, which is on fire, it's a very good thing that the Indian public has stood up. And I never thought there'll be such an uprising after I had made an announcement that I'm taking interest in the thing, and Ishkaran is being designated by me as the man of law, who will argue in court if necessary, but also do help in the investigation. And I think we must all put our might to make the government ask the CBI, Enforcement Directorate, and I also think the government should ask the NIA, because there is the terrorist angle of Dawood, and you have the United States government's word. The Israelis have already arrived, and we should use the Israelis. They are good friends of mine. I'll speak to the Israelis also to find out whether they've been asked. But if they have not been asked, I would like the Israelis to take interest in the terrorist angle in the functioning of the Bombay Bollywood. And this Bollywood needs to be given a shakedown, and the time has come. That's what I would like to say. If any of you have any questions, please ask.
So, Dr. Swamy, you had observed that, regarding the CBI, you had said that it is a multi-state affair between Bihar and Maharashtra, and there is so much of news coming out. I'm not saying it's authenticated or not, whether the police is being treated properly. They've been put into vans and all those
Yes.
things.
Yes.
Now, what you just said, this huge bungling of losing files inadvertently, doesn't that clearly make it a cause for this? Just hand it over to the CBI so that all this thing is getting eliminated.
I agree. Totally agree. But I'm not the one who can order it. I can go to court. But the problem is that when I announce that I'm going to court, somebody goes and files a petition without any basis whatsoever and
Exactly
gets
what I
it
was-
dismissed. You see,
Yeah.
I mean, these freelancers are the biggest dangers to our thing. I mean, I'm preparing the files here with great deal of effort and so on, so that when I go before the court, and you know that so many cases in Tamil Nadu and other places where
Absolutely.
I've gone to these and said CBI must inquire, not Tamil Nadu police. I've got it done. I mean, the Supreme Court has been very, very considerate because I bring all this data. So, meantime, I'm doing they go and saying, no, police can't be trusted. So naturally, the court gets angry and says, what do you mean police can't be trusted? Let them do their work and then we'll see. And if you don't like our judgment dismissal, go to the Bombay High Court and file another case. So my problem is at this stage, I'm not going to announce. When you will find out from the newspapers that I filed the petition, then of course it'll be. Otherwise, these freelancers will come in, and again, maybe they are sent by somebody. I don't know. Sometimes it happens that way, and they see that I'm blocked from going because there's a precedent of a case having been filed and dismissed. So, but I think the government should know that they do it, the public will support you. And today there is in Bihar there's going to be an election which BJP is to fight, and the people are tweeting every day that no CBI, no vote. So I think the message has become clear, and I am very confident. And I believe that the Prime Minister in such matters is usually very forthcoming, and I think he will definitely order a CBI inquiry very shortly.
Now, so one other question.
Yes.
You just bear with me. I just have this question for him.
Yeah.
Typically, in these kind of unknown or death, cause unknown cases, they don't declare the cause of death. But this is very strange.
Right.
Exam, and they only declare what is the cause of death. What is this?
Absolutely right. They even went and told the people who are doing the postmortem that is suicide.
It is bizarre that they come to the cause of death before even the viscera samples.
Yeah.
None of those are examined.
Even an FIR has been registered. They've already declared what the result is. But even in suicide, by the way, the section 306 of the IPC makes suicides also a criminal action for criminal action, because there is something called induced suicide. That's what happened with Sunanda Pushkar. All our evidence had been destroyed by the Delhi police before our government came. And so to reconstruct, a lot of evidence was reconstructed. In fact, the Delhi police, then police commissioner, who later became CBI director, one of the finest people, he actually conducted a vigilance inquiry, and all the things that were done. For instance, Sunanda was using a BlackBerry, and that BlackBerry came into possession of the police. And what did the police joint commissioner, or whatever his name was, what did he do? Who was there at the scene? He gave this phone to Shashi Tharoor. And what did Shashi Tharoor do? Cleaned it up and sent it back. And so her telephone is lying there, all cleaned up. So, but in the end, there was enough, thanks to Dr. Sudhir Gupta's forensic analysis, we had enough that even if it was suicide, she couldn't have done it on her own, because the marks on her body and so many other things. So it is obviously an induced suicide, and by injection. And the original UPA government police commissioner said she herself injected a Russian medicine between two. I can't believe this, you see. Here's a woman who has got all kinds of blue marks and 12 major injuries on her body, and then there's a injection hole in between the two fingers, and they say that she herself injected it. How can she do such a thing? It's very hard for a person who is supposed to be lying down and doing it to herself. So I mean, all these conjured up now. Therefore, Mr. Shashi Tharoor's charge sheets have been filed, and now Delhi police has got enough evidence now, and so they have told the court that we now want to upgrade it to murder. So that's yes, they have said that, and we are awaiting, because of this coronavirus, no hearings have taken place. But he has taken bail, so he is out on bail, but the bail can be cancelled if it becomes murder. So I think here also the same thing. So I think these modus operandi of crooks everywhere seem to be the same.
Why did they rush through the cremation too? I mean, when there is suspicious death.
Provisional. The court the postmortem says provisional. And they are sending the visceral to the forensic department, and next day they have cremated him.
And without even the parents' family, nobody.
Yeah, nobody notified. Yes.
Arvindji, go ahead.
या डॉक्टर स्वामी बहुत अच्छी जानकारी आपने दी क्रिकेट और बॉलीवुड के बारे में। मेरा मानना है कि जहां पर भी ज्यादा रकम का लेन देन होता है वहां पे बैटिंग बहुत ज्यादा होती है, और जहां भी बैटिंग बहुत ज्यादा होती है वहां ये क्राइम भी बढ़ जाता है।
जी, आपने
बंबई में बॉलीवुड की बात की, क्रिकेट की बात, क्रिकेट तो पूरे हिंदुस्तान में और दुनिया में खेला जाता है। उसी तरह का एक खेल और है घुड़दौड़, हॉर्स रेसिंग। हॉर्स रेसिंग में भी इसी तरह की बड़ी रकम का लेन देन होता है और वहां भी इसी तरह की बैटिंग होती है। लेकिन हमने ये देखा है कि क्रिकेट में जब से वनडे क्रिकेट या T20 शुरू हुआ, ये भारत में बैटिंग ज्यादा बढ़ गई। आपने इसका जिक्र भी किया, और कई जांच पड़ताल होने के बावजूद किसी को आज तक इसमें सजा नहीं हुई। मोहम्मद अजरुद्दीन, जिनके ऊपर एक शुरू में आरोप लगे थे, अजय जडेजा, अजय शर्मा और 2-3 दिल्ली के क्रिकेटर्स इन्वॉल्व थे, उनको कुछ दिन के लिए बैन हुआ। वो कोर्ट में गए, बाद में वो बैन हट गया, और अजरुद्दीन तो बाद में सांसद भी बन गए, जो माननीय सांसद हो गए, ऑनरेबल मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट। और दूसरी तरफ आप देखें कि श्रीशांत
शशि थरूर मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट हो सकते हैं, तो अजरुद्दीन ने क्रिकेट में किया, उसमें कौन सी बड़ी बात है।
श्रीशांत के ऊपर बैन लगा, वो कोर्ट में गए, और राजस्थान की टीम बैन हुई, राजस्थान के 2-3 क्रिकेटर्स बैन हुए, लेकिन श्रीशांत को भी कोर्ट ने फिलहाल दोबारा खेलने के लिए अनुमति दे दी है। तो ये क्राइम एक तरफ हो रहा है, दूसरी तरफ जो पनिशमेंट हो रहा है वो पनिशमेंट उसके अनुपात में नहीं हो रहा। आइडिया ये होता है पनिशमेंट का कि क्राइम को डिस्करेज किया जाए पनिशमेंट देने की वजह से, और जब पनिशमेंट ही नहीं होगा तो क्राइम कैसे रुक पाएगा।
देखिए, मैं तो कहता हूं कि मैंने सुनंदा पुष्कर केस में देखा है, जब पब्लिक में एक इश्यू बन जाती है और पब्लिक में कई लोग 2 हो, 4 हो, 5 हो, वो उसमें दिलचस्पी लेते हैं, तो हमारी पुलिस भी अच्छी तरह से काम करती है, हमारी कोर्ट में भी अच्छी तरह से मामला चलता है, और जजेस के लिए भी बहुत आसान हो जाती है, क्योंकि जजेस के सामने जो भी सामग्री यानी तथ्य रखते हैं उसी के आधार पर तो वो फैसला देंगे। वो कहा ये अपने जांच तो नहीं करने वाले हैं। तो इसीलिए मैं समझता हूँ कि अब जो हमारे देश में लोग हैं उसमें ऐसे भी लोग होनी चाहिए जो अपना समय दे करके एक चीज़ के पीछे बढ़ जाए और फिर ना छोड़े। तो मैं कहता हूँ कि सारा समाज उसके साथ खड़े हो जाती है। आज मैं जब तक ये सवाल नहीं उठाया और ईश्वरन को मैंने मनोनीत नहीं किया, तब तक ये सब ठंडा पड़ गया था, और सडनली फिर ये सब जगह है, और फिर मीडिया ने भी उसको इम्पोर्टेंस दी है, और मीडिया ने बहुत कमाल काम किया है। दोनों NDTV को छोड़कर बाकी सारे लोगों ने इस पर फोकस करके अच्छा काम किया है। तो यही है डेमोक्रेसी। डेमोक्रेसी में जब तक एक पीपल्स पार्टिसिपेशन नहीं होगी, यदि आप चाहते हो कि गुंडे बदमाश, डकैत, आतंकवादी, इन सब को एक जगह करनी है, उनको अपनी जगह दिखानी है, तो फिर हम सब लोगों को अपनी समय निकाल करके जागृति दिखानी चाहिए. ज़्यादा कुछ करना नहीं है, बट चंद लोग करें और बाकी सब लोग उनकी समर्थन में ट्वीट करें, बोलें, बयान दें. इस प्रकार से होने से एक हवा बन जाती है. फिर सारे पुलिस भी ठीक से काम करती है. जो पुलिस है उसमें से बहुत अच्छे लोग भी हैं. बॉम्बे पुलिस तो एक टॉप क्लास है, परंतु जब पॉलिटिकल अथॉरिटी आ जाती है तो एक परंपरा बन गई है कि जो पॉलिटिशियन है वो कहते हैं उसको मान लेना चाहिए, नहीं तो आपकी करियर ही ख़त्म कर देंगे वो, और कोई पूछने वाला नहीं होगा. तो ये जो वातावरण है इसमें बड़ी नुकसान होती है. इसीलिए एक उदाहरण प्रस्तुत करने की ज़रूरत है कि हाँ, आज मैं ये कहूँगा कि हमने करप्शन तो बंद नहीं किया, परंतु जिस तरीके के कांग्रेस में करप्शन होती थी उतना तो नहीं हो रहा है. और इसका कारण है कि हमने 2-3 केसेस करके एक हवा पैदा कर दी कि तुम पकड़े जा सकते हो, कितना भी बड़ा हो. अब सोनिया गांधी बेल में घूम रही है आजकल और बड़ी भाषण देती है हमें नैतिकता पर, और राहुल गांधी भी बेल पर ही है. तो इसीलिए ये हमारे समाज की दोष है कि ये नहीं होता है, प्रणाली का दोष नहीं है.
Dr. Swamy, some of our viewers are asking a question.
Yes.
They want some light to be thrown on another case of a Bollywood actress dying under mysterious circumstances in Dubai hotel. Sridevi. They want to know a little bit of that because they say no other politician had the courage to raise it, and
Yes.
you had raised it then. So they want to know a little bit of that also, Sridevi's mysterious death.
Yeah. My friends in Israel helped me a lot on that. And I'll tell you broadly, it's like this. I'm sorry I couldn't take up that case because it was in Dubai. Had she died in Bombay, I would have taken it up. I knew her also. She's from Tamil Nadu. And all the things, that she was drunk and all that rubbish. She didn't touch liquor for at least 20 years. And she was a very strong freak for doing yoga in the morning. She kept her physical shape in as good as it was before. The thing is that her husband, Bonnie Kapoor or somebody like that, I think I know him, and he took her to Dubai saying we'll celebrate our wedding anniversary there. And for 3 days they were to go there. He landed there. Then he said, I suddenly got a message, so I will go back to Bombay and then come back tomorrow. So, or he said day after, and then we'll go out for dinner. Then, but he came one day earlier and he knocked on the door and she was surprised to see him. So he said, I wanted to give you a surprise. My work got done quickly and let's go out for dinner. So she said, but I am not. This is all his version, okay? It's there's no independent version on this. So she is supposed to have said, no, but I need to wash up and clean up and come. So let me go to the bathroom and come back and have a wash and come. And so he said, okay. He waited in the other room. It was a suite, and she went inside and didn't come. And he says, after 15 minutes, I got a little apprehensive. I went there, and the bathroom door was open. I walked in and I found her dead in a bathtub. Now, I have not heard of anybody voluntarily committing suicide in the bathtub in 15 minutes without. And if it was, and she was not it was not voluntary, it was anything else, then there would be some struggle. The water would be spilled out of the tub. All kinds of things would be there. And even if she had a heart attack, it should be revealed. Now, I would have expected the husband to immediately call up the desk and said that an accident has taken place, came right over. He didn't do it for 2 hours. 2 hours later, he called up the police of Dubai. And then they came. Then the hotel was also informed. And then they came. The closed circuit TV again was out of order. I mean, now for Sunanda, for her, And for this Sushant, this mysteriously, all three places the CCTV doesn't work. I mean, there must be really inferior CCTVs being produced in these countries, including India. But anyway, then the Dubai doctors come and they do a postmortem there itself and give a one-page report that she died by accidental drowning. And on that basis, she is packed up and sent to Delhi, to Bombay. In Bombay, I said we have a right under the law to do a fresh press mortem. But it wasn't done. And she was cremated immediately. And the matter ended. Now, how do I take up a case which happens, this kind happens in Dubai? Furthermore, there is credible, but I've not seen it with my eyes, so I'm not able to confirm it, that she had taken or on her behalf, it was a insurance policy was taken from Oman, which said in the event she dies in Dubai, the insurance will pay 300 crores. So it seems like a very extraordinary insurance policy. So, but then what's the use of worrying about all this now? I mean, as far as I'm concerned, the case is closed. I will not touch it because it's not in our country. Because in my country, I have friends, I have reach, I have all kinds of support outside, in whether it's the United States or in Israel. So therefore, I get to know what's happening in Dubai and so on. I think that was a clear case of murder, in my opinion. And she was forcibly drowned. It might have been done when the husband was away in Bombay. And the question is, why did the husband go? What was that so important that he should leave in the middle and go? But all that, I mean, I feel sad because she was a very talented actress and a very good person also.
So one last question from my side, more from an observation / question. These three Khans you mentioned, Salman Khan, Shah Rukh Khan, and Amir Khan, the three Khan guys. Plus, of course, names of Mahesh Bhatt, the guy who helped Headley and all those people.
Yes.
The way to we should hit them where it hurts. Basically, I'm not a big fan of let's boycott this, but people should be aware and consciously saying that we will not support these fellows. I mean, it's not that you cannot kill the whole industry just because we have a bunch of bad actors.
Not go and see their films.
Correct. So in some form, shape, or the other, hurt them where it really hurts. The only way to do that is not see their films and not support them in any form, shape, or the other.
Well, I can say that this is the first time in my memory that the people have reacted to a mysterious death in Bollywood.
Absolutely.
So this is a new development. There are many things about India that surprise you. For instance, people thought that poor people don't know anything about democracy. Only educated people know. But your state and my state, most educated, voted for Indira Gandhi. The entire 4 states of South India are supposed to be most educated. They voted for Indira Gandhi. But these illiterates of UP, Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Haryana, Himachal, Punjab, they voted all. Not only voted, they voted her out also.
Correct.
In our own personal constituency.
It's fascinating because this young gentleman, Sushant Singh, in a very short time, if he is able to capture the imagination and fancy and fan following of the entire country like this, and it's 48 days and relentlessly his fans have been campaigning for CBI and all of that. It's something that the Bollywood Khans are really afraid of.
Because they got a hope that if I'm going to get in, I will definitely file a case. I'll definitely do like I've done in other cases. And Ishkaran has also, I must give him credit that he has spoken. He runs a website. Every day he gives a briefing, and so we have to replicate this. People should have confidence in somebody who tells us like it is. Today there is a big demand. You must tell it like it is, and do what you say you will do.
Correct.
Take it to this logical end. So when that starts happening repeatedly, you will see our country will be completely transformed.
Even the media has a compulsion of being more closer to
report. Yeah.
They're being forced to, because that's where the money
डॉक्टर
comes.
स्वामी,
Yes.
अभी जिस आपने सुशांत सिंह राजपूत की बात की,
जी,
जगदीश शेट्टी जी ने श्रीदेवी की बात की,
जी,
कुछ वर्ष पहले एक और अभिनेत्री ने आत्महत्या की थी, उसका नाम था जिया खान.
हाँ, यस, करेक्ट.
और जिया खान ने जो आत्महत्या की थी उसके बारे में भी इसी प्रकार का विवाद हुआ था कि वो आत्महत्या है या हत्या की गई है.
जी, जी,
जिया खान के पेरेंट्स भारत में नहीं रहते,
जी,
और जो उनका घटनाक्रम दोबारा से दोहराया जा रहा है, उससे आज एक टीवी चैनल ने दिन में एक कार्यक्रम प्रसारित किया था
जी.
और उस कार्यक्रम में उन्होंने कहा था जिसने जिया खान का मर्डर किया,
हाँ,
जिसने सुशांत सिंह राजपूत की पूर्व सेक्रेटरी दिशा का मर्डर किया,
या,
और सुशांत सिंह राजपूत की हत्या में भी एक ही परिवार का हाथ है.
बिल्कुल.
अब वो कितना सच है ये तो पुलिस की जांच ही बता सकती है, लेकिन एक एंगल है कि सभी आत्महत्याओं को या सभी अप्राकृतिक हत्याओं को या घटनाओं को इस प्रकार से जोड़ा जा रहा है. कोई ना कोई तो पीछे है.
नहीं, उसको अंग्रेजी में सिंडिकेट कहते हैं या कार्टेल है.
माफिया भी अच्छा नाम है.
माफिया, हाँ. माफिया इटालियन है, कहीं सोनिया गांधी को बुरा लगेगा तो. मैं ये कहता हूँ कि आपने एक अच्छी बात कही. यानी आपके बात से मुझे एक और बात याद आई. इसमें हिंदू मुस्लिम का सवाल ही नहीं है. क्यों? किसने मांगा है? वो जो मद्रासी सिंगर है,
रहमान,
ए आर रहमान, उन्होंने खुलेआम मांगी है. फिर एक अदनान सामी है, पहले पाकिस्तानी था, अब इंडियन सिटीजन बन गया, उसने मांगी है. इसको
म्यूजिक इंडस्ट्री का तो अलग एक माफिया सोनू निगम ने बोला है. सोनू निगम है, अरिजीत सिंह है, अरिजीत सिंह के साथ भी यही हुआ है, नील नितिन मुकेश के साथ भी यही हुआ है.
अब सुशील मोदी ने भी कहा. अब लोग कहने बोलने लगे. ये हम चाहते हैं, और इसमें हिंदू मुस्लिम का सवाल नहीं है. हाँ, जो दादा हैं दुबई में वो सब मुस्लिम है, मैं क्या करूं. बट इसके माने कि हिंदुओं में दादा नहीं है, ऐसा नहीं है. वर्दा भाई होता था एक बॉम्बे में, जो हाजी मस्तान का जगह लिया, वो तो पक्का तमिलियन था. LTT भी तमिलियन थी, टेररिस्ट थी. तो मैं ये कहता हूँ कि इसको हिंदू मुस्लिम बनाने की प्रयास की जा रही है. मैं कहता हूँ नहीं, इसमें हाँ जरूर ऐसे लोग हैं जो कम्युनल टाइप हैं, यानी खास तौर पर जो हिंदू एक्ट्रेसेस हैं उनको सताने में वो तेज़ हैं. परंतु वो ऐसे दुष्ट लोग तो होंगे ही. परंतु हम लोग जो कर रहे हैं इसमें कोई हिंदू मुस्लिम का सवाल नहीं है. हमारे देश को माफिया से मुक्त कराने के लिए हम लोग ये सब हमारी समझ दे रहे हैं. हमें तो नहीं करने की क्या जरूरत है, हमें तो 1000 काम बाकी है. तो इसके जगह में हम कर रहे हैं, क्योंकि देश की जो एक ढांचा है वो अब हिलने लग गई है. और फिर इसके बारे या हम इस दिशा में जाएंगे, एक कोने में जाएंगे और उस कोने में जाएंगे, परंतु देश की जो लोकतंत्र है वो बर्बाद हो जाएगी.
Dr. One last observation. You brought up about LTT. This culture of mafia getting into movies is also starting to creep into Tamil Nadu movie. I mean, Hollywood in Tamil.
Oh yeah, it has been going on for a long time now.
Okay. So basically, your case here, I think it's going to be a good template for getting rid of mafia, not only in Bollywood, but across this filmdom. That this whole thing has to be cleaned up, because in some form, shape, or the other, they're using this medium to launder money, prostitution, threaten people, and it's just creating a big ruckus for the society per se, and degrading and debasing the culture which India has.
But I think that we should first expose the politicians who are there to help them.
Absolutely.
They get women. I mean, the men who are in politics in key position, when they hold a party, they'll call up the cinema world and said send 25 women as hostesses, and then make them sleep with their guests. Yeah, there all kinds of things are happening, and so then when they are in trouble, the politicians speak up for them. There are all these parties that are talking about. Politicians have attended in good numbers, you see.
Right.
And so therefore I think we must ensure that those politicians who have anything to do with the cinema world shouldn't get elected. So public awareness is started. So we must ensure. In fact, I was very happy that people have gone to their MPs and said, write to the PM that you need a CBI inquiry. Otherwise, we'll not vote for you next time. So that kind of movement is necessary. And the most important protection for all this is not Dawood Ibrahim. Their protection is the politician. See, now police is behaving like this not because they are corrupt, but they have got political orders. I know for a fact they have got political orders. I have friends in the police, and in Bombay is my city. I've been twice elected from there. Jagdish is from Bombay. We care a lot for that city. It's a cosmopolitan city, which has shown the world how in all the difficult circumstances there are more skyscrapers in Bombay than I think most cities of the world. And these are all built by our workers. People used to say it's a great technology building skyscrapers like the way they build in New York. But we have outsmarted all of them to show that we can produce it at 1/4 the cost it takes to build a skyscraper in New York. So I think the politicians should be shaped, and the voters should also not take money and vote as they do in Tamil Nadu, or go on caste, religion, and all that. Just say, I want a clean man who will stand up for what he means, what he says, and says what he means. Such a politician we want. And that is the way to transform.
And what is fascinating is after Sushant's death, the media is throwing every possible mental disorder thing on him. He's got this, that, he's got 10 different mental disorders. That guy doesn't seem to be like that at all. Even in the latest movie that has come out on Netflix, which is a hit,
Yeah.
the media wants to portray a guy like him who has been so successful as some mental deficiency or the other.
No, media, I wouldn't say. I'd say media gives publicity to those who are making these allegations. Instead of asking them, what proof do you have?
Yeah.
Where is the prescription? They have not been able to produce a single prescription. Can you believe it? And they say, oh, he was taking hallucinatory drugs, he was taking this, he was taking that, he was a bipolar. Who classified him as bipolar? Is there a doctor who has given a certificate? At least in Sunanda, they got a forged certificate. So what was the Sunanda's problem, I must tell you? She was told she's got lupus and she's dying slowly, because lupus means you die slowly. And therefore, you have to take, for lupus, you have to take some tablets and all that. And so Shashi Tharoor took her to Dubai. And there one Dr. Gupta came and he said, Madam, you got lupus. And he didn't give a prescription. He just gave her tablets of lupus. Then Shashi Tharoor took her to London. And there one Englishman came and he said, Madam, you got lupus. And he also didn't give a prescription. He gave a big bottle of those tablets, whatever they are called. And then when she came back, she was telling everybody, I got lupus. But suddenly it occurred to her that let me get another. She went to Kerala. And there that very famous Kerala institution is there.
Kim's. Kim's, I think.
Kim's, yes. And that told her, you are perfectly healthy. You haven't got any ailment at all. She said, what about lupus? She said, not at all. That's when she had that fight with Tharoor on the flight. And when she got off the flight, she went straight to the hotel. But the hotel was rigged anyway. And that's how she died.
Okay, Dr. Swamy, thank you very much for, we have already crossed 70 minutes.
My God.
And it is a topic which is never ending topic. Bollywood, which
Yeah,
dominates
anyway, there's more to
India's entertainment industry.
Yeah.
And cricket, which is another form of sports and entertainment together. And therefore, these things involve everybody in real life, and everybody is interested. Of course, the IPL is one of the event which actually has given rise to the rule of mafia or money. And therefore, this year, of course, because of COVID, we couldn't have IPL. And now we are going to have in September in UAE.
Yeah, that's right.
Which is another place where the corruption in cricket started.
Yeah, we'll be sitting duck there.
So one of these days, the IPL also has to be cleansed, like the Bollywood has to be cleansed, and your voice is very important. And many people, encouraged by your demand for CBI, many politicians, many members of parliament, and many media men, they also got encouragement because you are saying it. And if you are saying something, it is not unreasonable. It can't be without any basis. So people have so much faith in you, and so much more power to you. Your struggle will certainly be fruitful, I'm sure. And in Sushant Singh Rajput case, or in similar other cases, the attempt to poison the Bollywood will also be defeated.
Sure.
Thank you very much for these kind information. Ramesh has to say something.
One last point. You funny that this IPL is happening in UAE. So they're having a special booth for laundering monies, Dr. Swamy. They have a stall for snacks and all those things. They have a special booth now for laundering money.
Yeah, but that's not illegal.
Yeah, it is not illegal.
No, in some countries betting is legal. Of course, in India it is not.
From a
No. But if you are betting after rigging, that's illegal.
Yeah. That's why I mentioned for a short while horse racing. Horse racing is such a thing where most of the betting is backed by people who are bookies.
Yeah.
And these bookies, they earn millions or billions of rupees based on one pull of a horse.
That's right.
One rider pulls a horse by 1 yard, and the horse gets defeated, and the millions are exchanged. So it's like this spot fixing in cricket.
That's right.
This next ball will be no ball, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Anyway,
whoever goes to IPL this year, Dr. Swamy, from Bollywood, sure shot they are in the laundering business.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Okay. You can conclude. Sorry about it. Go ahead.
Thank you, viewers. We have already crossed 80 minutes today. Maybe perhaps the longest program in this series of Gyan Ganga and Words of Wisdom. Thank you very much. And we'll be back next Sunday once again with your favorite guest, Dr. Subramanian Swamy, and our co-host, Jagdish Shetty and Ramesh Swamy, and the technical team, which was named by Jagdish Shetty in the beginning of the program, namely Ishwar Iyer, Swaminathan, Tejas, and Vishal Mehta, and Ashish Shetty. Thank you very much. So next week, Sunday, 8 p.m., again we'll come back with Dr. Subramanian Swamy and a new topic, which is very, very important for you. Thank you very much. Namaskar. Jai Hind.
Namaste.